It be 3 a.m. stream time, boys. Alright, save that. Share. 3 a.m. stream. Now I'm gonna say night. I don't know. Tawa stream. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say at notification squad because all the cool people need to come here. Why hello there, Harry Mario. Why are you saying boo? That's too scary for me. Like, do you know how scared I am right now because you said that? So last time we left off, we got some of the procedural animations done, where you break apart and you can now become wheel. You explode. So the next step is to make the shrink animation happen, where when you dash out, all the bones shrink back in. So yeah, I guess we'll start off with that. And the first thing we need to do in order to do that is we need to add a scale version of tween type. So yeah, we have case position. We also have to add oh wait. Oh, I guess we do have to add that as well. Case tween type dot scale. We're going to make it so it's temp object dot game object. We should be able to basically copy this. Why don't we? As a start. Only things we really have to change is changing it to scale instead of position. Oh, I need a break statement. There we go. Wheel tower. It's a Skeletower. So we're going to change this to scale. Local scale, I guess. And we start at the start value. Object to match, transform that position. No. Change that to local scale. Yeah. That should be okay. Now we need a way to set it up. We should be able to basically just copy these. We'll say this is scale. We need to change this to scale here. This as well needs to be changed to scale. There we go. Wait. Hold up. When I'm tweening position, oh, this is the start value. I was like, wait, shouldn't this be following a specific object when you pass in an object? And it is. That's why object and match is here. But this position is the start position. So yeah, I can just change this to local scale. And then we have value to tween 2. And then time to tween. Yeah, that matches. So that's the start value. This takes in, I guess it'll have an equal statement. No, it doesn't. How does it know then? It has a start value, value to tween 2, and an object to match. Oh, this takes in a vector free dot 0, and then this one, yeah, object to match, and this has null of this has vector free 0. Okay. You know, while I'm here, I really should just throw in rotation as well. Yeah, rotation is actually a little bit more complicated, so maybe not. Anyway. So back here in player controller, or actually first in bone animation, is there anything I'm going to need to do in shrink? Obviously I do this. Actually, I don't have to care about shrink factor. I do not need to care about that. When I free, that's when I actually need to, I need to actually set the scale to 1 bone dot local scale, or actually I could say game object dot local scale. Transform dot local scale. This is because I'm going to be shrinking it in shrink, obviously. That's not going to affect the rigged model, but it will affect the procedural bones dot local scale. Equals vector free dot 1. That's fine. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Okay. Wait. No, the game object should be a scale of 1. Then the bones inside of it get changed. Alright. So now in shrink, we can go ahead and say, I think I'm actually going to do the transformations in player controller, not in bone animator. And the reason I'm going to do that is because the player controller then can use its waitable interface to then basically say, oh, you died, so then do this or something. Well, hello there, Travis Evil Man. Glad you can make it. Thank you for joining us. Yes, as you can see, I'm working on this. So, one thing I need to think about is, when am I going to switch? Wait, no. Yeah, when am I going to switch from a free explosion and to being pulled by the heart? Because essentially there's a few different... Here, let me pull up paint. So there's a few different states that I'm thinking about. First, obviously, you have where the player just explodes. So you have the player, this is when they self-destruct. And it starts off in free, the free state, where the bones go flying everywhere. So you got bones going everywhere. You also have the heart, which is flying towards the other player. So you have the heart, and that's going away. The next thing you have is the pulled state, where the heart is still flying towards its destination. However, now it's dragging the bones behind it. So you have, bones flying behind it. So it's dragging the bones behind it, essentially. And the bones are moving up towards the heart, while the heart is still moving away. So that, and then obviously, lastly, you also have to have some time where the bones go from the heart to their outer position around the other player. So you're going to have a bone, and it's going to have to go to around the player. Now, what I can do is I can make this a fixed period of time. So I can make this like 0.1 seconds. That's easy. So the main problem, though, is honestly, I'd probably even make this less than a tenth of a second. I should be able to put it in for like, yeah, if there's 60 frames a second, I should be able to get, like, you should still be able to have a visual difference if I make it like maybe like 0.2 or something. Or no, not 0.2, 0.02 or something. You should be able to see that there should be multiple frames where it's still in transition. So I can make this a fixed value for this state. The problem is, when you die normally, there's going to be a, like, there's two ways you can die in a game. There's SDing, which is going to be where you press down to self-destruct, and that should have a short death. That should be a short death, I guess. So maybe like 0.5, or maybe like, yeah, 0.5 seconds. However, the actual, I shouldn't write that there, I should write it down here, because this is the time for the whole thing. So if you SD, that should give you like 0.5 seconds where you are dead. Alternatively, if you die, so if you die, it is annoying to write with a mouse. But if you die, then it should be maybe like 1.5. So if you like die on a spike, your heart should literally get impaled. But that begs the question of, I can't just say, oh, this phase has, well, I might actually be able to do that. But I really shouldn't say, like, if I want this to be half of the total time, this to be half time, then I want this to be basically half time, then I have a problem. Because the way I would do this is through my waitable interface. So I need some way to basically tell my waitable interface, hey, this much time has passed because it's an SD, so do this much time for the next section. Alternatively, if I die, I also need to be say, oh, the next section should be 0.75. Right now I can't do that, I can only pass in a string. Now, alternatively, I could make the string more unique. I could add some identifying information at the end of it, but I feel like that's sloppy. Alternatively, I could have one of these segments be hard-coded, one or both. So I could alternatively say, oh, this, when you SD, is going to be, so maybe SD is going to be 0.1, and then if you die, then this is going to be, you know, maybe 0.4 or something, I don't know. I guess it would have to be 1.1. So this is 1.1, and then this is always 0.4. That way you don't have to pass in a value. Honestly, I think that's going to be the best way to do it, because then it'll be a little consistent. Also, see you, Travis Evilman. Have a good one. But yeah, I think that's really the best way to do it. So, every state has a different requirement. So I have respawn time down here. Serialize. Field. Private. Float. Respawn. Time. I don't want to say die. I'm just gonna leave it as respawn time. Maybe I'll say end for normal. I guess I'll do that for now. I can change it later, but I should remember that if I change its name, I'll have to change it. I'll have to remember the total. I'm gonna say F for fly. Well, actually, I'll just name this normal. And then I'll call this fly. Or, not fly. What do I call it in Bone Animator? Pull? Do I need to have pull? Yeah, I do. Alright. Anyway, back to bone animation. When we have shrink, honestly, we could probably just put it in here. We actually still need that though. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, we might as well do it there. Where do I set it to shrink then? I probably do that after hitting dash. State dashing. No, that's an update. Hey, that's an update. Shouldn't that be even fixed update? If dashing. Oh, no, that's hitting it. So yeah, fixed update. If I press dash. So case normal. There's no other cases. Maybe it is an update actually. If case is normal, case is dashing, fused. Here we go. Wait to execute, try dash with 0. Why is try dash down here? Wait, what? If val's delta direction vector magnitude is greater than 5, so you are pushing a direction. Minimum angle between. Don't I have something that checks if you're immediately going to ricochet? I guess that's in try dash. That's weird though. Why did I put try dash in here? How much do I have to pay for an Among Us stream? I don't know. 20 euros. Every man has his price. That's mine. 20 euros, and I'll do like, I'll change one of these nightly streams into an Among Us stream. Alright, for each bone and bones, I set it to shrink here. I guess this should actually wait. Bone transformed up parent dot transformed up parent bone parents get value or default. I guess I can do that as well. Oh, one thing I should do, because I might immediately be put into a different state, I'm actually going to, from a ricochet, I mean, I'm actually going to set this right here to a different value. So when it's set to pulled, I'm not gonna add it here. I will add it diffused though. So here I'm also going to start a tween. Do I have an end tween? I have an end wait. Do I have an end tween though? Public static float stop execution. That's that. Wait, what? End wait. Oh. This just calls end wait. That's smart. In that case, why am I doing this? That's way smarter. Up here, I have wait to execute with a value 0. I might as well just say end wait. End wait, pass in this. Anyway, try dash. So here I'm setting it to shrink. I'm also going to say bone dot transform dot parent dot game object. No, I just need to say wait, no. I actually need to put this in the tweener. So tween dot tween scale. Yeah. And the game object we're going to be tweening is bone dot transform dot parent dot game object. And then it does not have an object to match. We're instead going to be saying vector free. Vector free dot 0. I guess that we need to have a shrink timer. And then time the tween is going to be a new variable called shrink timer, which we'll put up here. I'll put a space here, because these are all pretty similar. We're going to make a serialize field, private float bone shrink time. We can also go here to bone animator, where I have like shrink speed, shrink factor. Where is this used? I don't think it's used anywhere. Oh. Oh yeah. Well, I can delete this entire thing. So yeah, we're just gonna delete this line. We don't need this since I'm going to be putting this in the tweener. Now I don't use shrink factor anywhere. Yeah. I am considering this 20 euro for Among Us proposition. I'm just imagining the meme that's like, I give you $20, 20 euros. You give me Among Us content. There's a specific meme I'm thinking of. Alright, so yeah, bone shrink time. We'll have that set. And then down here, we'll just say, this is bone shrink time. I could have sworn it was a end early. End wait, hurt ricochet complete. Oh, that adds force, okay. So, let's see how this looks. Oh yeah, we also need to do that, but we can do that next. So that does that. Ooh, it does not like that. Oh, it's probably because of that or something. What? Huh? Wait, this... Why did it open up? Wait. Hold up. Okay, it's opening up in 2019. I thought I changed it to 2022 though. Um, edit, preferences, external tools, 2022. And then we can go here to, um, there we go. Don't know why it messed up like that. It looks like it's that. Okay, so one object needs to be eye comparable. Let's see. Oh wait, wrong thing. I need to be looking at tween. So when I go here to tween scale, we have a game object to tween, game object to match, time to tween. Discord attachment. Post it in the Discord and I'll be able to look at it. But yeah, I don't get why this isn't working. At least one object must implement eye comparable. Compare system object A, system object B. Then this is also failing. Let's see, if it says local scale equals start value, there's no object to match. So instead it's going to be looking at 0 minus start value, which is going to be 1. How's it getting start value? Hold up. Hold the phone. No, this is getting it this way. You put it in memes. Yeah, basically. That's the one. All right, so for some reason, this isn't working. It is this line, right? Yeah. So 1 minus time remaining. Oh, I never set the value here. That's why, that's why. I need to set it in the player. Here we have respawn time normal, which we'll say is 1.5 for now. That'll be changed later. Time for pull we'll say is 0.25. Make it half of that. Bone shrink time. We'll make that like 0.05 for now. The problem is that the time was 0, I think. No, it still doesn't like this for some reason. One object must be eye comparable. No, it doesn't. Tween scale. And we're saying bone.transform. Tween scale takes in the following. Takes in a game object to tween, which I am passing in a game object. It takes in a value to tween to, which is vector free.0, and it takes in a time to tween, which is bone shrink time, which is like 0.25 or 0.05 or whatever. Yeah. I don't get why it's complaining. Bone.transform.parent.gameObject should be obvious. That's that's the object that has a scale of 1. Now, one thing that it might be is this. I want to try this first. I want to put a debug statement at the beginning of scale. So this is vector free. Let's put a debug .log. We're just going to put a foo here, a foo bar. Let's see if it sees that. There's a chance that it might be failing at the inner method here, and I want to see that. If it is literally that method, then this will fail. However, as you see, it says foobar for some reason. Why does it say foobar? It's saying foobar twice, in fact. That means for 2 of the bones it's working, and then for the next one it's not working. Let me actually put another debug here. We're going to say debug.log boobar. Or actually, we're just going to say bar. And then we're going to change this to foo. I think it's running this twice, and it's running it successfully twice. However, the third time it's running, for some reason, it's deciding to be stupid. Oh, you use pounds. I said euros because yeah, Britain is not using the currency of the Europe. That's why I said euros. That's my mistake. Oh God, I'm gonna have to play. I'm gonna have to make the Among Us stream real. To be completely honest, that's probably worth it. I don't know. So one of these late night streams, I'll do Among Us. I'll have to figure out. I'll have to make a thumbnail for it, or should I just make the thumbnail Among Us spin? I don't know. Oh God, what have I gotten myself into? Ooh. So this is a little sus. So it's running the first one through completion, and then it runs the second one, but the second one breaks. As you can see, it hits the first check, but it does not hit the second one. Why is that? That shouldn't be happening. If it was just a breaking, I could understand that. But why is it only breaking on the second one? What the hell? If thumbnails could be a GIF, a GIF. I'm just gonna pronounce it like the G in gigantic, so a jife. So it's breaking some point in tween value. We know that. Why is it breaking? Great question. All right. So we have tween value. For each tween, it was saying it was a comparable interface. Also, first, I don't get why it was breaking, why it was saying that the error was in player controller when it's clearly in here. It wasn't having trouble with this before, but whatever. All right, so tween value. So we have game object to tween, and object to match. For each tween object, tweening object, and tweening objects, if game object is equal to game object of tween and tweening object dot tween type is equal to tween type, wait, what? Oh, it's asking if this new thing is the same as the object. New tweening object, and it does all this. This shouldn't, I guess it's somehow breaking this. Let's put a foo bar statement here. Debug.log. Foo. And then we're going to put a bar here. Actually, we'll put a bar in both the success and failure. Debug.log. We'll put a far here, actually. I'm going to say far. I doubt this actually gets run. And then I'll put bar here. We'll be able to see the... I want to cover all my bases. I assume the error is here because this would make sense. Because now you're actually comparing this game object to tween. Still doesn't really make sense though. Because the game object is just a reference. So it's weird. Yeah, I don't get why one is working and one isn't working. Okay. It's hitting a foo bar, and then it's not working. What the hell? Wait. What? Okay, this is weird. Oh, no, 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 never mind. Okay, so when the first object comes in, it goes ahead and says, oh, I'm this object. And then it says for each tweening object, but there's no tweening object, so it doesn't run this. Then the second one comes in, and there is a tweening object. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there's never two running tweening objects before. Yeah, I think that's it, but no. No, that doesn't make sense. Because why is it still able to run one? Why is it able to run a foo bar check and then it crashes? Where is it crashing? Ugh, this is annoying. Oh yeah, I think it's crashing there. No, that doesn't make sense. Like, by all accounts, it should be crashing. This is the only place where it makes sense to crash. But it's not crashing here. Like, if I go back here, debug.log foo debug.log bar. Like, you can see that it breaks during this segment. Yeah, it does foo bar foo. So a second object's failing. But where? Like, I don't get why. Like, first of all, nothing makes sense to fail here. And secondly, like, where it's failing doesn't make sense. And also, you know, like, three things don't make sense. One, it shouldn't be failing at all. Two, where it's saying it's failing doesn't make any sense. And three, why is it failing only on a second one? Let's go ahead and give it a little bit more information. Foo plus game object alert, or game object to tween. No, that should only be happening with fixed update. You feel as if you make poor financial decisions? No, they are amazing financial decisions. To be completely honest, thank you for your donation, Harry Mario. Now, one possible scenario that may be happening is it might be a race condition. where it's not actually here. Instead, I would say, like, no, it has to be here. It can't be some other thread that's running. Because, yeah, it says here that the error is coming from this method. And going to this method, it has to be happening somewhere between these 2 points because of this method. And the only thing that happens is this. So it has to be happening sometime in here. But doesn't make sense. Like, it just legitimately doesn't make any sense. For each tweening object, and tweening objects, if the object is equal to the game object to tween, like, besides doing this, it doesn't do anything. Like, actually, okay. If it is this, it does make sense a little bit on why the first one actually works. The first one works because it's able to say there isn't anything in for each, so it doesn't have to run this code. However, the second time, there is something in here, so it tries to run it, and then this compares and it fails, but at the same time, tweening object.tween type equals tween type. Is that it? Have I tried telling the code that it's not making sense? Then maybe don't realize. Maybe they don't realize. True. Yo, code. Have you thought of working? I think it would be quite poggers if you thought of working instead of being broken. Maybe I can just say this. I mean, it's still weird. If this is the problem, then saying foo, you should then see far bar after it. Or you should not see foo far bar after it, I mean, but you do. Which is weird. Because it should go ahead and crash when it does that if statement. But it says bar. Why does it say bar? Let me put another debug statement here. Maybe it is a race condition. Maybe it's maybe it's not working here and then it's immediately breaking. It's doing this and then it's breaking before it's doing anything else. No, it's seeing gar. Wait. Why is there two gars? What the hell? It's seeing gar from the first object, sure. But then the second object should be crashing. God damn it. I'm not crazy. I might have been locked in a room with rats, but I'm not that crazy. Because, yeah, it does foo bar, and then foo, and then it breaks some point before the next bar. Where it breaks is the question, but it is breaking on the second thing. However, as you can see by this, this only gets run at the end of a for each statement. So this is only being run once for each bone. Every sane person ever, true. Okay. It's because there's an initial tween when you break apart. But then you have two more gars. So that means both bones are actually making it past here. In that case, let's move gar. Let's move it down to here. Oh. Dot sort. I think I see the problem. Gar is going to work here. That's my prediction. Gar gar. You see both of them. Alright, I know the problem. The problem is simple. I'm trying to sort. I'm using the dot sort command on a list of objects, which the sort command uses dot compare. But because my objects aren't comparable, now it's breaking. Why it doesn't say that's the damn line that's the actual problem, I don't know. Visual Studio's frickin' stupid. But, you know, that's that's Visual Studio for you. You go eat now? Nice. Enjoy the eating. Alright, so the only thing is, I mean, no, it should be okay if I change to tweening objects, if I sort it here. Why, hello there, Giovanni. Glad you can make it. Thank you for joining us. I just discovered a bug. Apparently, sort is stupid. Oh, and I guess it makes sense because sort is comparing them. It's literally comparing them. Why am I sorting the damn objects? Well, why is this here? Why am I sorting in the first place? Okay. Literally no reason for me to sort. But yeah, the problem is sort. I mean, how do you sort something? Well, you say, okay, this thing has a value, object A has a value of 1, object B has a value of 2. Sort lowest to greatest, I guess. I don't know. It probably has some default value. But the problem is how do you get that value of 1 to 2? Well, you say 1 compare 2, or A compare B. And unfortunately, it doesn't work. I was sorting my list of tween objects. Tweening is essentially really basic animations, except you don't have to do them manually. Like if I want a box to move from point A to point B, sure you can say, okay, box position is A, and then you can say dot move or translate uh, in direction of B for 5 frames or whatever. But that's annoying. So I just made my own method to do it. There's other methods, there's libraries that have it, and they're called tweening, but I just made my own tween because why not? I don't know why I was sorting my list of tween stuff, but that would explain why it was breaking. And now it's working. Whoa, that's crazy. It's kind of working. Oh, I'll also have to do that. Alright, so now what I need to do is in player controller, first of all, when I try dash, for some reason I'm setting, it might be in shrink here in my bone animation. Skin mesh renderer turn on, collider turned off, is kinematic turned on. It's not turning off the mesh renderer though. When is that happening? That happens in, should be happening in rigged. Yeah. So when am I getting set to rigged? Well, if we go to player controller, I don't know. Oh, maybe my shrink timer is just way too short then. Because I think I have it as like 0.05. Yeah, so let's set this to 0.1. Actually, let's say it's 0.5 for now, just so it's visible. For some reason, all the bone positions are following this, which I guess actually does make sense. Let me increase the time even more, just to test this. I think the problem is that the bones are moving with your player. Ah, calc free exam. I wish you luck. Let me set this to like 5 seconds. I want to just make sure I understand how this works. It's not moving with the other player. That is weird. Oh, because it's no longer parented on that. It's parented on this player. Okay, it's just the way that parents work. So what I need to do is I need to make it so the bones are still parented on this until it's actually rigged. If not hit ground, player state equals dashing. Then when I go ahead and set it back to rigged, I'll do that. I need to put a for each bone here. So for each bone, game object, bone, in bones. So for each one, I'm going to, first of all, take you. I'm also going to say that it is now rigged. Bone dot transform dot parent dot get component, and we're going to be getting the bone animator for it. And we're going to be saying dot set bone state to rigged bone state dot rigged. Boom. looks like it's working for the most part. This is a little bit too fast. This point free. Let's set it to 1. Still really fast. Why is it so fast? Let's set it to like 5. Okay, it's instantaneous again. Oh, and I guess that makes sense because it's happening when it's rigged and it's... Yeah, when this is rigged. Um, yeah, I see the problem. When this state gets... Basically, the dash finishes faster than the shrink happens. Honestly, I could probably get rid of shrink timer in that case. I could just make it the same time as your dash. So, bone shrink time, I can get rid of you. How long is the dash time for? That's 0.1 seconds. Alright, so yeah, set that to dash time. So, besides tweening the scale, I can also start tweening the position. Because right now, if I go back, the position should not be changing. Like if I'm moving with one skeleton, when I dash out, um, the position should remain the same. The break apart still happens, right? I wish I could go frame by frame and actually like have an input going. Let's see, did it recognize that? No, of course not. No, of course not. Why can't it just recognize the damn input? Let's see if there's a way. There might be a way. Unity input in input frame by frame. Does not have a way. Okay, nope, that would be too easy. Alright, whatever. just so fast. It's basically instantaneous. Also, we need to make it so when you ricochet, it doesn't do that. I don't get why it's so fast. It feels too fast. Like, that at least has a couple of frames where it's like, bam. Like, you can see how long that dash is. It's at least, it's a snap of your fingers, so it's like, bam. But it's still a snap of your fingers. You can see it. This is, bam, it's gone. Bam. Literally instantaneous from when I press the key. I don't even know if there is a frame where it does this. Dang it, did not mean to do that. Oh, there is a frame where it shrinks. You can see it shrinking. Honestly, I don't know if the scale is even necessary though. Let's say vector free dot 1 times 0.5 f. That way it doesn't shrink down all the way. We'll also say tween dot tween position. We're going to be throwing in the bone dot transform dot parent dot game object. Then we're going to be setting it to vector free. No, we want to set it to the position. So we're going to be saying this is going to be other get other player. We need the time to tween, which is going to be dash time. Let's see how this looks. There we go. That looks a little better. You can see the bone sort of get sucked into the other skeleton as he fires it. Don't get me wrong, it's still really fast, but you can at least tell what's happening. It looks like the skeleton's actually reforming. Kind of. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that. Because you can at least see now what's happening. Why am I not going to the right? Skeletower. What the hell? Oh, it's because I'm ricocheting. That's neat. It's still broken as hell, though. But it doesn't change the fact that it's neat. Yeah, when you ricochet, it's, yeah. We need to have ricochet detection here. Which I guess first means we need to introduce canceling, a tween cancel, if you will. Oh wait, I have this. Stop execution. For each waiting object, and waiting objects, if waiting object dot waitable equals waitable, and waiting object dot key equals key. Oh, so I guess I already have it, kind of. But this is for waiting objects, not for tweening objects. What reference do I have to this? In player controller, execution time taken equals dash time. Oh, I guess that's for the ricochet. Yeah, that would make sense. So now we just need to make a public static. I guess we'll also put in a float here. Tween time or stop tween. This should be capitalized. This should be as well. So stop tween. Here we just need the game object. Doesn't have to be waitable. We're just gonna call this, yeah, sure, game object, doesn't really matter. And then we're gonna say string. No, this doesn't have a key. I guess just a tween type. I'll just call it type, I guess. For each tweening object in tweening objects. I'm honestly surprised I remembered these variables, but they're not that creative. For each tweening object, and tweening objects. God, that's such a stupid name. So for each of these objects, I need to basically check the same thing here. If tweening object dot, well, first of all, if tweening object dot equals game object and tweening object dot type is it equals? I guess I can say dot equals because this is a enumerator. So if tweening object equals tween type, yeah, I do have to pass into type, equals type. So if these two things are the same, then we're going to say tweening objects or tweening objects dot remove tweening object. And then we're also going to say return tweening object. It's very similar to the other method, but you have to have two separate things because one uses game objects and then one uses waitable, and they're two separate lists. So dot time remaining. And then I guess, yeah. Else return -1. So now in here, if I ricochet, I guess by ricochet, I should immediately go into the pull state. Which first I need to add the pull state to. I do have pull state here, right? Yeah, I have respawn time pull. Which I guess is just going to be the total pull time. So here, when I actually go ahead and try to merge, I need to do something special. Where do I try to merge? When do I self-destruct? If self-destruct, I explode. There's a period of time where I'm free. Oh, and then when a heart merged happens, that's when it does it. So I guess I can just do this. Tween dot wait to execute. This, and then I'm going to execute pull bones. And then I'm just going to have respawn time pull. We're actually going to have respawn time SD minus respawn time dot pull. There we go. So now I need to say pull bones. I need to make this a thing down here. I'll put this right above heart merged. Case heart merged. No, pull bones. What am I saying? And break. So here when I'm saying pull bones, what I need to do is I need to start a tween essentially. So tween, or for each bone, game object, bone in bones. I'm going to say tween dot tween position, and I'm going to be using the bone dot transform dot parent, not position dot parent dot game object, and the object to match is going to be the heart, and then float time the tween is going to be respawn time pull. I do assign to heart, right? I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, I look at the names and I say, oh, if it's heart, yeah, heart equals current game object. So yeah. I should also go ahead and say bone dot game object, or no, dot transform dot parent dot get component, and I'm gonna get the bone animator for this. I'm gonna say set bone state. It's going to be setting it to pull. Bone animator dot bone state dot pulled. And that's going to set some values Like it's going to turn off its collider and rigid body. Just like that. Nice. It's really far away. You can see it get pulled along. I think that's one thing I need to do. When the bone state becomes fused, or yeah, I need to set its rotation to none, or its velocity to none. Rigid body dot velocity equals 0. Velocity is a vector 2, so vector 2 dot 0. This should stop it spazzing out so much. And it's still spazzing out quite a bit. Some bones aren't spazzing out though. Um, hmm. The object should only be moving if it has a rigid body or if it's being acted on by actual code. Is it selecting a random speed? I'm pretty sure it does actually select a random spin speed. Yeah, it does. Let's say 0.05 actually. Also, that times 1 is totally necessary. Honestly, pretty happy with this. It's not perfect for sure, but not bad. Only problem is if you're really close, it has this problem of like snapping. Because it does. The pull time takes the entire section of time, and then you just immediately snap to the rigged position. So, how do I fix that? I guess there's a couple of ways I can fix it. The easiest is to set a set state that works until rigged. And then when you set your thing to that, no, that wouldn't work because then it'll immediately snap anyway. I can make a special state where it doesn't do that, but again, that doesn't really work. I could make that. That's probably honestly my best bet, to make a third separate variable where it goes from heart to that, where it goes from heart to not pulled, but yeah. Yeah, that would work. It's a little awkward, but yeah. So I have to make a third variable up here where it basically goes from pull. So I'll call this pull end. Also, I like how Visual Studio thinks that it recommends push because it thinks this is a stack or something. So we're going to call this, yeah, pull end. So now, first of all, when do I use pull? That should be in like one spot. here. I should use it in one other place, if I'm not mistaken. Respawn time pull. I also need to subtract respawn pull end. Actually, no, I don't. Respawn pull can be the overall time it should take, and then respawn pull end can be just that. That makes more sense. Unfortunately, this also means that I need to have another case. So we'll call this case stop pull bones, or pull bones end. I'll just keep it consistent. So we'll put that a break. There we go. And then here we're going to say tween dot wait to execute. That should be right. Yeah. This, and then we're going to pass in pull bones end. Pull bones end. And then time the wait is going to be pull bones end, pull end. Oh wait, no, that was actually right. Respawn time pull end. So now I'm going to do basically the same thing, where I'm going to say for each also here in Bone Animator, I'm going to stop it from rotating normally. And I'm only going to have it rotate when spin. Yeah, that's fine. See, I just want to put this here. It doesn't actually matter when you're shrinking, because when you shrink, everything's just moving in, so the actual rotation doesn't actually affect it. So this is fine. So now we can say for each bone and bones, we're going to do this. Tween dot tween position bone wait, this is wrong. This should be respawn time pull minus. I was about to have a bug. Haha, not this time. So tween position bone dot transform dot game or parent dot game object, and then we're going to be saying the object to match. We're actually going to give it a position here, and first we need to actually give it this. So here we're going to take this calculation and essentially move it out. We're going to make a thing that says get target location. So it's going to be a public vector free, or we can make it a vector too. Pretty sure this is a vector free thing. Tween position is, yeah, vector free. So we'll just do a vector free for this. Vector free target position. I'm actually going to call it fused just to be a little bit more precise. Fused target. Does fused have one or two S's? looks like 1. It's a fused target position. How much more of the soundtrack is there? A little bit. Probably gonna, after this is done, I'm probably gonna go to bed, honestly. Alright, so fused target position. This should actually be get fused target position. Don't need to pass anything in. Doesn't return a value. So yeah, this is just going to return transform that position. It's going to basically get this. Then this is just going to say get fused target position. There we go. And now I can also go over here and I can say bone dot transform dot parent dot get component. We're going to be getting the bone animator. And then we're going to be, wait, that is not a game object. I'm stupid. I need to say dot get, wait, what? Dot get fused. Okay, I don't know why I was saying get component. That's stupid. And then for the time, it's going to be respawn time pull end. Now, unfortunately, this isn't going to be exact. And the reason it's not going to be exact is because technically if your player moves, then it will, like if player 2 breaks apart, the heart's going towards player 2, or no, the heart's going to player 1, the bones are following. The bones close in on the heart, but player 1 starts moving. Player 1 will have basically it has a position around it where the bones are going to try to go. However, if player 1's moving, it's not going to be tracking them because it's tracking a position around them, and that position is not updating until you actually wait. Well, when you get the position, it's a position, it's a struct, you're passing it by value. So when you get it, it's correct, but after that, it will not be updating. Thankfully, it's such a short period of time, it shouldn't matter, but it is something to think about. But yeah, this should be correct. Between position, bone transform.parent.game object, bone.transform.parent.game get component. Let's see if this works. It will not work, actually. I know it won't work, and I can tell you for a fact it won't work, and that's because I didn't actually set respawn pull time end, or respawn time pull end. If respawn time pull is 0.25, I'm going to make this I'm going to say 0.5. I think that's fair. Let's see how this looks. I think that looks pretty good. It's a little fast. I think I'm actually going to increase the time it takes a little bit. The reason I don't just go to the position initially is because 0.25 seconds, while not a long time, is more noticeable than like 0.1 seconds. So yeah, it breaks apart, it starts following. It actually is snapping initially. That's not correct. So why is it doing that? one possible option is because it's actually, I don't know, that's weird. Because it's going to the other object's position, not going to the target position. Unless it isn't calculating the target position first. But that doesn't make sense. This is weird. Tween.transform position. First of all, is this happening? This might not actually be happening. Let's play it again. I am doing this right after doing a tween position. So that could explain it. So if we go ahead and we break apart, it tracks, but it's not staying with the heart. That's the weird part. Like, that's not the heart's position. I should have a tweener here in the scene. Maybe not. But yeah, it's weird that the hearts here, these are clearly moving past it. Let's make it longer. Let's see what happens if I make this longer. Let's make it the whole time. Or basically the whole time. Point 2. Let's just say 0.2. See what happens now. So it does that, they explode, they go to the heart almost instantaneously, which is interesting. Now once it gets here, at this point, it should, maybe this is still tracking the heart, I don't know. It's still weird. But then it goes ahead and, like, that's still a huge snap from where it presumably is. Maybe it's the parent? I don't think it's this. So let's set this back to 0.1. Let's set a tween value. Or let's go ahead and see. I guess I could do that. I can say stop tween. Just to be sure. Loans end. We're going to say tween dot stop tween. Then we're going to pass in the bone dot transform dot parent dot game object, and then we have to also pass in a tween type. So we're going to pass in tween type position. This will cancel its previous tween if it does have one. If it's a race condition, which I'm guessing it is. It's hard to tell. Also, I meant to pause. But even that was technically incorrect to pause. So it breaks apart, starts tracking this, and then it snaps out. That's weird. let's actually increase it again. So 0.2 again. So it breaks apart. It all starts flying. It's not really moving on the X. Yeah, like it snaps. What's happening to the parents, actually? Breaks apart. All these things don't have a parent. They're all just separated. They fly apart. Then, bam. Something happens. Their parents get set or something. They're still all out here though. Maybe it's the heart that gets set. Yeah, because player 1 gets set down here. Why is it not working though? That's the real question. For some reason, it's not tweening correctly. I don't know why. Like, it's still moving when it should be tweening. Bone.transform.get parent .get component bone animator get fuse target position respawn time pull end. That's correct. So that should be like 0.2 seconds. And I mean, is it this? Get fuse target position other player .transform position plus radius from player. And that should be correct. Unless the radius from player is incorrect. I mean, like, it's not, though. We know it's not. It's setting the position just like that is. Like, unless it's two tweens fighting over each other. I don't know. And this should be going through all the tweening objects. And if it is still running that tween, it should be canceling it. Let's put a debug statement. First of all, I want to see if it actually is still running. Debug.log. Or I'm just going to say foo here. Let's see what this does. Let's see if it does say foo. Does not say foo, which is interesting. It's just so weird. Why is it snapping like that? It's like at one point it's tweening, which sure. I don't know. Either way, let me go ahead and set some of this back to 0.1. That is not right. I need to actually select this, change this to 0.1. File save. I'm going to remove this foo statement. So this is the current state of a project. You can now break apart and it'll then create the ring around you. It goes ahead and has a shrink effect when you go ahead and fire off. For some reason, forces are... Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe you're still being affected by forces or something. But yeah, you're still able to fire off and whatnot. And you can use that to go up and whatnot. Maybe that's what I should do. Turn this into an only up game. Just kidding. All right. But yeah, I think that's about it for tonight. With that, I'd like to say thank you all so much for watching.